Hey, my friends, what's going on? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. And we are fresh back from our mastermind event in Orlando. And we are so excited to be live here once again, back in our normal routine with a amazing entrepreneur and marketer from our community. She has grown a following of over 100,000 people in her audience in 3 months. She says that she hates relying on anybody else for money, and so she is pretty driven to be independent. We are, and I am just really excited to talk with her and learn from her and jump back into our amazingly powerful and inspirational Wake Up Legendary routine here. With that being said, Irfana, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you, Dave, for the amazing introduction. I am so happy and excited. I've been waiting for this day to speak with you.
Oh, thank you for saying that. That's so sweet. And I'm just as excited. It's my pleasure. So tell us how you found Legendary Marketer. I mean, what was it that you were looking for? Have you found what it is you were looking for? Tell us how you got here.
Okay, so I had actually started with an Indian based platform a while ago, and then I got introduced to affiliate marketing, right? And I am an Indian. So initially, I was just working with that platform, but I'm settled in UAE. So when I moved here, I went for a break to India, and then I came back here. I just realized I need to find better platforms where I can earn money in dollars. There is this thing about making money in dollars for other countries, right? So I was like, I have to see something, find an option where it's in dollars, but I already had a bit of understanding on affiliate marketing. So I was like, initially it's very tough maybe for people who are thinking about it. That first step is the hardest. So with the Indian platform, I sort of got over that. And of course, I think like most people, I was scrolling on Instagram and found a boss based Steph. I'm sure she's one of your top members, and she was very inspiring. To this day, I still follow everything that she does. So she was the way that I found about Legendary. Yeah. And do you want me to answer the other question too, if I found what I'm looking for?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So initially, I started with the 15-day challenge, and I finished 2 days. Then I forgot about it. And then another mail came from one of your team members, and then I got back. So I had really stepped into this whole international way of affiliate marketing through Legendary, right? So it gave me a base understanding of what is funnels and a little bit more about email marketing and things like that. So yes, definitely I have found, and you guys have kept it at such an affordable amount. That's just obviously it has way more value than $7, but it helps for anyone like me who's confused to just begin. So yeah, it helped me a lot.
So are you currently calling in from India?
No, UAE.
Oh, you're in UAE,
Yeah.
Dubai, Dubai
Yeah.
area.
Where is the country? Dubai is a city.
Okay, okay. So you're calling in from UAE, which is the United Arab Emirates,
Yeah.
and okay, so not in India. Are you originally from India or are you from the UAE?
I am from India, but I am a resident of UAE. In India, Legendary is not allowed to, right? It's blocked actually. But I'm resident of UAE.
Okay, great, great. So, well, that makes a lot of sense, and thanks for sharing a little bit about how you got here. What is it that is driving you? Talk to us a little bit about your drive to be independent. Every guest that comes on the show, we send you about 10 or 11 questions to sort of ask you and get to know you a little bit more, to get you thinking about some things that you can talk about on the show. And one of the things that you said was that you hate depending on anyone for money, but other than that, I just love giving to others, and of course your parents. It's all about how you can help others. For me, explain to us about what's important to you, what's driving you. Say a little bit more about that, and what is this allowing you to also do? Are you able to have you saw me in a couple of instances giving, doing some nice things for my parents. It's not all about the big stuff. It can also just be, I remember one story of a couple of brothers who for the very first time went out and paid for dinner for their parents, and that was a
Yeah.
huge accomplishment for them.
True, 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 true.
What is driving you, and in what ways are you able to give back to your family and your parents through this?
Sure. So it's there is a bigger picture and then there's a smaller picture. Obviously, the small picture would be to support my parents and all of that. But in the bigger way of thinking long term, in most of the girls from our community don't have a lot of opportunities, or there is a lot of restriction and limitations. So I always felt like if someone steps up and becomes a role model or does something, I could be inspiring a ton of girls out there who, with this whole technology, it's so much more accessible for people to sit at home, use their phone or use their laptop and just make money or build a career. So, and apologies for the prayer in here, there's a prayer, so it just happens. Anyway, yeah, so I always felt like I have something in me which I can use to inspire girls, right? Especially from our community. So that's where I want to go in the long run. But other than that, I'm coming from a business family. And there is huge, huge expectations from my family. Like, I don't know for you guys, it's sort of different. I always felt like it, but I don't, because once you're 18, you are independent and you go live your life, and you don't necessarily take care of the parents. I mean, maybe it's not as expected as our culture. I felt like that because parents do save up for their retirement and all that, right? For our family, it's like the kids have to grow up and the kids have to take care of the parents and stick along with them. I don't know. I always felt like there's a difference in that. So my parents have huge expectations, and my dad wants me to succeed beyond him. So that's like a lot of pressure on me. Even now, he is not very open minded about the whole digital marketing and all. I think maybe older generation sometimes, like, they have a hard time accepting these opportunities. So yeah, those are my driving force. And like I said, I just hate to ask people for things, right? That matters a lot to me. Yeah.
So I do have some Indian friends. One of my best friends in the whole wide world is Indian. My
Okay.
dear friend Gangesh, and he helps me to understand a lot about your culture and
Yeah.
his culture and the expectations that are set on the kids to take care of the parents, to be successful, even if the parents aren't very financially successful.
Yeah.
uh, which can be, difficult, because it's sort of like do what I say, not do what I did, but do what I say. So
Yeah.
anyways, each person has to do with that what they will and what they can, and process that individually, and then obviously be an individual and do the best that you can, decide what's best for you. um, uh, there is a different expectation in Indian culture than there is in American culture, for sure. The expectation in American culture is that the parents are going to pay for college, and that the parents are going to take more care of the kids. And quite frankly, I think that's why why there are so many successful Indian doctors, and a lot of our medical staff here in America
Are
are Indian. And
Yeah.
so that can be a gift and a curse for both us and for you, right?
True.
um,
Yeah.
each each culture has its own pros and cons, but it's nice to hear and learn about different cultures, because it can make us grateful for what we have. It can also inspire us to do more. And I think talking to you, talking to people from around the world makes me grateful for what we have, but also inspired to work harder because I see you working harder, right? And I what's possible. So even though, and that maybe lead us into a little bit of the limiting beliefs or the noise that you've needed to, cancel out from friends or family members. What are some of the things that are either limiting beliefs or potential distractions that, such as a parent's voice, right? And although we love our parents, as you said, um, we still may not get their full approval or validation. What are you overcoming to do this? Can you help us to understand, if we were to just look at your Instagram or your marketing, we may not really see some of the challenges mentally and emotionally that you're overcoming. Obviously, you touched on some of the cultural things, women not maybe having some of the opportunity, or not it not being presented to women, or it just not being a cultural thing for women to do. Help us to understand what are some of the things that you're overcoming mentally and emotionally in order to be successful that we would not know by just looking at your marketing.
True. Actually, I have been an entrepreneur even before this, so I have some experience, and I get the basics, like, you have to be very consistent. You should even work if you don't see results. So I know how business works, and that really helped me in this journey too. But I was not focusing a lot on my mental or physical health, and that is not something people tell that you have to also take care of, and it's part of the journey. So just a few months ago, I considered, putting more effort in doing exercise and eating healthy, which really helped me to build my business and to have the right mindset. Because if, for example, like if someone is not having a good sleep schedule, they would wake up, very grumpy, and that would set the tone of the day, and continuously bad things would happen to them because they're attracting that. So for me, I didn't face much challenges doing this as a business, but I faced more challenges with not taking care of my other things, right? Because I was only obsessed with growing, and that's also not healthy, right? It's not just about your career. There is so much more to life than just this. So I feel like the things I have overcome is taking care of other things in life too, beyond business. So maybe that's a different experience, but yeah, that's what I have done.
So, what are some of the diet change? I just talked about this quite a bit this weekend, actually. What are some of the changes that you made? I mean, how was it that was it what you were eating? Was it when you were eating? What are you doing exercise wise that is something you can keep up with? Talk to us a little bit about some of the specifics of the changes that you made, and what are you doing?
Sure, sure. So I don't overburden myself and make it super strict, because I feel like if you make it instantly like a whole change from your normal routine, it might be difficult to keep up or build a lifestyle. So I usually start slow, and with exercise. Okay, are you there? Yeah, you got stuck. So what used to do was, I just started with walking, but while I was walking, I listened to podcast about health. So I felt like I have to get educated, and if I do get educated, that's when I might really take a serious decision, right? So
Mhm.
I was listening to a doctor. I don't remember his name, but I every day I listened to podcast while walking, and he introduced me to more concepts. For example, like why sugar is poison, and I was not, that much knowledgeable about things like those until I heard that. And then I came and researched about sugar and what happens if you eat more sugar and eat more carbs, and then I watched documentaries about it. But now I'm well aware that sugar is not good for your body, and each time I'm having sugar or I'm looking at it, I know this is not good. Even if I'm, eating little, I know I have to stop. So now that I'm more educated, I can control. So cutting down sugar is a big diet change, I think, that I was able to make out. Then With exercise, I again took it quite slow and listened to podcasts and really invested in the learning aspect first. So yeah, then one of the main things which I had done even last year was sleep. I I think waking up early in the morning can change everyone's life. And I genuinely believe that, because you have more time to prepare and just take some time to reflect on where you are in life, and or just any emotions that you have not processed, and then you can exercise, and then you're like more ready to handle whatever challenges uh, the day with the day it comes, right? So I think sleep and diet and exercise, I'm still in the learning process, so I don't want to say anything until I really like read somewhere. Yeah, but exercise is required for sure.
Yeah. Well, I love everything that you said. I mean, you made some really, really great points. One, that sometimes when we get into business, specifically online marketing, we get so obsessed with online marketing that that's
Yeah,
all we like listen to and that's all we think about. And so it can become a lot. We become obsessed and we then start to struggle with information overload, and it almost becomes too much. So I love that you're mixing in a well-rounded approach to entrepreneurship by both exercising but also getting educated. I think that really applies to everything, not only to your business. The more educated you are, the more you understand what you're doing, the more you understand the potential, the more you understand the alternatives and the options out there, the more you really understand the big picture about what you're doing, the blueprint, if you will, the
yeah,
more you the more you're motivated to not to take advantage of it and not maybe let the opportunity pass you by. Or it speaks to the rational analytical side of your brain, and it's like logical, like, yes, this makes sense. Oh, I can see why this business model makes sense. Same thing with health, and you touched on sugar. It's like, we can exercise all day long, but if we're still pounding sugar, we're probably
yeah,
not going sugary drinks, soda, sugary foods, processed foods. We're probably not going to make a whole lot of, a whole lot of progress with our our goals, because quite frankly, 90% of building muscle or losing weight and getting into shape is what you eat.
true, true.
So
Yeah,
you know, educating yourself about health and diet and nutrition and exercise. Wow. And I love that you just started with walking.
yeah,
Walking is one of those things that it I've walked for a long time, and I love to walk. I love to even pace around. If I can't go on a full walk, just kind of walk around in my yard a little bit, get outside. It gets the juices flowing. It helps me to think bigger. It helps me to clear my head. And there's also so much science behind just the power of walking,
true.
that it's just undeniable. It's undeniable how good that is for mental health and also physical health.
True, true.
Um, and I love that. I love that you shared that with us, because it's so simple, and it's so anybody can do it.
Yeah,
Anybody can start with getting educated, listening to things, taking a break from the marketing stuff, listening to a little bit of health related information or podcast, or even, my friends, if you're walking or if you're exercising, listening to some music, just clearing your head. Sometimes when we get into this entrepreneur world, we get so, obsessed and overwhelmed, and it is good to mix it up.
yeah.
Um, so let's talk a little bit about your marketing. What has been working for you? What advice could you give us? Talk to us about. Let's start with platforms. We're sharing your Instagram handle. Is that your preferred platform? Are you also on TikTok, Facebook? Talk to us a little bit about what platforms you like right now, where you're having success, and what specifically are some of the things that you're doing with your marketing that are gaining traction.
Okay, so I work more on Instagram, and that's where I know more strategies. But I am on YouTube and TikTok as well. Not that active, but every now and then I post. So I feel like Instagram is something that's really, really working right now. And if I can do it, obviously, everyone can. And strategy wise, to be honest, I feel like people don't have the patience and consistency required firstly. So they should, before even entering into things like online business or anything, they have to really first invest on their mindset and get educated more on that. Because a lot of people who reach out to me, or they either are in 9 to 5, or they're a student, and they their mindset is completely different. So being patient and being consistent is just so important. I even talked a lot about how you don't need to be the smartest or the most educated or the most resourceful person, but if you're consistent in one thing and you're just so focused and driven, like, you're going to achieve it if you can continuously do it. So that's the same with social media. If you start today, nothing is going to happen, right? But every single day you just show up and show up and show up and act like you already are something, without taking a break, no matter you're busy or what your mood is. That works out. I feel like in any platform, it has nothing to do with platform, it's just a human to human connection, right? So I feel like that works. And people, uh, of course, nowadays the smartest way is to model other successful people, especially with social media. But you have to also add a little bit of, what are you doing?
I just threw the old hat.
Okay, okay, fine. So I was just saying that people should also make it personal while being on social media, and not being super robotic and talk about and just copy other people, right? So I feel like these are good strategies. Consistency is everything, everything. Yeah.
Well, I got excited and threw the hat because something that you said there that really is profound, and it's simple, and some folks may have missed it. And the thing that you said was, act like you're supposed to be there, act like you've done something,
Yeah.
right? And this is true no matter what business. See, the thing that I want to make sure everybody doesn't miss is that these strategies and techniques that we're talking about right now, as well as all of the strategies and marketing methods that we teach inside of our training, are transferable skills, which means that they certainly relate to the four business models that we teach here, the core four business models, the four ways to sell information online, but they also relate to any business.
Yeah.
And showing up like you're supposed to be there, like you belong there, is something that no matter what business you're in is important.
True, true,
If
true,
you
absolutely.
if you open a doctor's office
Yeah.
and suddenly you start to have patients coming in, and these patients are, of course, relying on you for advice, even though it says practice on the sign, because every doctor is practicing, you still need to act like you belong there. Act like
Yeah.
you are an authority, because
Yeah.
part of what your job is to give your customers, give your patients a calm and
True,
confidence that they can take your advice, and
true,
that you have some training, that you have some experience, that you know what you're talking about. Confidence is everything in everything in life, not only in business, but also,
true.
let's just say you're out and you're going to go up to somebody and ask them for their phone number out on a date. If you don't act like you are worthy of that number,
You will
you
not get it.
not going to get it, right? So I love that you say that. So speaking of that, how did you show up early? I can see here that you have already made 230 posts on your Instagram. Okay, so the Instagram easily shows us how many posts people have made. So how did you show up when you were in those first dozen videos or so, like
Mhm.
you were supposed to be there?
Okay. So, what I did was exactly this, which I'm telling. And if anyone is in a growing stage, maybe they could just copy. You have to pick 5 or 6 people in your niche who is super, super successful, and you actually genuinely like them and like their content, and you want to be similar to them. And I used to model reels which have got over 1 million views, and I would only model those reels and not do anything else. And some people really try so hard to be creative and do their own thing. And so I tell people, listen, don't do anything, and you're just starting out. Don't do your own style of things, because social media doesn't work that way. We have to follow the steps of other people who already got successful. And once you are successful, then you do it in your way, and people, you have at least an audience to listen to. So I would model the people who really succeeded and only make content which has gone viral. I would only do that. And that's how initially, I think, with social media, until you reach that virality, it's difficult. But once you start getting viral content, then you have to just piggyback on that and do things quickly, 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 so that you can really, really grow faster. So that's what I did. And I think it could work for anyone too.
Yeah. Yeah, modeling is something that everybody does. I mean, think about when you go into a Walgreens or you go into a CVS or some sort of a drugstore. And here in America, we have
Yeah.
Walgreens, we have CVS, and
Okay.
there's the name brand, but
Yeah.
then there's also a generic
Yeah.
Walgreens brand. You see it also on Amazon. There's Downy paper towels, and then there's Amazon paper towels. What
Yeah.
these companies have done is modeled
Yeah.
products that are already successfully selling. It's happening all over. Okay.
Yeah.
And so this is not just a new or novel
Yeah.
concept that you are bringing up or that we're inventing.
Yeah.
This is good timeless business practice to look around and instead of saying, oh, I have to be original, I
Yeah.
have to say something that nobody's said before, I have to do something that nobody's done before. The bad thing about that is that if you're probably not going to come up with something that nobody said before. Somebody has probably already tested
Yeah.
everything and it didn't work. The only things that work are what we currently see happening. The only products that are successful are the products that we currently see on store shelves. And so I
Yeah.
love that you brought that up because it modeling, and I love that you use that word too, because it's such a superior word to copying,
Yeah.
meaning that copying means that you're not thinking, you're not adding any of your own personality or ingredients. You're
Yeah.
just literally copying, word for word, or the entire piece of content. Modeling means, let me take the concept, let me take the idea, let me take the topic, and
Yeah.
let me redo it with my own personality in my own way, so it feels original when people listen to it, but it's still obviously a topic that I know is popular and that I know people like to hear. Does that resonate with you? And what comes up for you as I say that?
Yeah, no, no, you have said exactly what's right. There is a big difference between copying and modeling. And modeling is you add a bit of your concept into that and switch things up, right? So, yeah, and that's obviously what really works in any sort of business ever. Yeah.
Yeah. What um what what is your calls to action at the end of your videos, and how are you turning views that you're getting on your videos into leads and sales?
So I think with Instagram, where I am majorly working on that, every now and then things do change, and we have to really keep up with the algorithm. uh, Few months, maybe 6 months ago, a strategy that worked wouldn't work the next month. So we have to also keep analyzing and be updated. Now what works is if we tell people to send the reel to DM. And what happens is, if I think in the beginning, once you post, people start doing that, your posts gains traction quicker. Then next one, which also seems to work, is comment a particular word, and that gets people, and reach also increases, and you get people to be your lead or sign up wherever. So I think these both strategies which is working right now.
Yeah, so sending the reel to DMs.
Yeah.
That's okay, so that's your call to action is share this or send this reel to me in a DM if you want more information. Are you also telling people to just follow you as a call to action at the end of your videos
Oh,
instead
yeah,
of
that's in the description already. But I think that's a very that's something we just put in everything. But we actually want them to have a conversation with us, right? Then only we can convert into whatever. And I don't think Instagram likes it when you say click the link in the bio. They don't want people to go off their platform. So when it is in a DM, then we can speak with them, send them links or whatever. Follow is something I put. I think everyone uses it commonly in the description usually. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Great. Are you focusing on email marketing? This was a topic that we talked a lot about at the mastermind this weekend, and what I find is that most of us, we send a couple of emails, and then we just kind of don't want to bother people anymore. Are you Can you relate to that at all, or how are you communicating, following up, or either sending broadcast or autoresponder messages once people have joined your marketing list?
So I think anyone in business would know that sales means follow up. So if you don't follow up, you don't close, right? It's the normal strategy which is there. So I am very much on email marketing. In fact, I don't think I'm bothering someone. Like if I'm bothering someone too much, they could just unsubscribe and go. It's fine. But every day I try to send them an email, and I try not to make it always too salesy. So sometimes I would just hop on and share maybe a thoughtful message, and I have some books which I genuinely like, so sometimes I share with them and say it's a gift to my community, so people see that I am providing value in my email. And but this is again something that is common and I know people are aware. But there was another strategy which I had learned from the Indian platform that I worked with. So what they used to do was they used to really give people WhatsApp numbers, okay? And I think when it comes to US or anywhere, even in Europe, their whole professional setting communication is through emails, and that's how it is. Like you are not supposed to bother people in their WhatsApp, it's too personal like that. I think they have that. And even if I want to reach out to a US based company, it's always going to be through email, versus if I'm trying to reach out to an Indian company, there would be more WhatsApp communication open. So the Indian platform used to train us to get people to text on your WhatsApp, and I had a separate business WhatsApp. This is what I still do, and I think this makes a major difference, because when people come into your WhatsApp instantly, they have become a little closer to you in some way, because they have your number now. And trust is everything in online business, maybe in every business, but especially online, because you never see this person, and it's all, they don't know if it's real or fake whatever. So when people come to your WhatsApp, that gives us an opportunity to build a genuine connection with them. Plus when you update stories, they have, it's little fast track, because they can easily respond to your stories and you could just close the person faster, as compared to email marketing. Email marketing means high chance of people ignoring you because you're getting tons of emails from everyone else, and they put you on mute or you go into their promotions tab, I don't know. But WhatsApp has been a game changer, and I still suggest this to people. But people are having this hesitation, like, oh my god, someone's gonna call me or whatever. But then I say, this is business, right? You just block someone if they're trying to do something. So yeah, that's what I think would work good.
I love that you're doing. I love that you're borrowing strategies from other experiences and using them now today. That is such a platinum nugget. We can also borrow ideas from other niches. We can borrow ideas from past experiences, other businesses. Different. Obviously, help me understand. Do you think right now in your marketing, are you targeting mostly Americans? Are you targeting Europeans? Are you targeting people in the UAE? What is your audience, or who is your content currently being targeted at or being pushed out to via the social media platforms?
I think with social media, and when you are building yourself as a personal brand, the way you look matters and plays a lot. Because if you look a certain way, there's high chances you are going to attract similar audience. And if I am from India, then the chances are I would attract more Asians, because they would feel more connected to me. And even though I want to really like target US and Canada and all of that, I was able to build good connection with people who are in the Middle East, or who are in India, or Indians who are in UK and US, even Pakistanis, Bengalis, like them, right? So I try to, even though I want to target everyone, it actually doesn't work out. The way you look attracts people. Maybe this is just my experience, I don't know. But yeah, so this is who I'm trying to target.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. That really does. And I love the way that you put it so plainly and simply, and also, also your mindset is one to swim with the current instead of against the current. You just said, well, yeah, I mean, maybe initially I tried to target US, Canada, but I'm how you look is sometimes what you attract. That makes a lot of sense. And so I'm attracting a lot of Asians and Pakistanis and Indians in the UK, and so I'm working with that audience, and those are the people who seem to be attracted to me, and so those are the people that I'm serving and marketing to. So much of your approach to business and marketing is common sense. It's practical. It's simplistic. You're not overcomplicating things. You're not getting yourself overwhelmed. You're going with the flow. You're seeing what works and doing more of it, instead of frustrating yourself trying to do something that
Yeah.
doesn't work, but that you have a fantasy about potentially doing, or you see other people doing. You're going with the flow. And for those of you who are having a hard time finding your audience or targeting your audience, how about just start marketing and let your audience find you? That is another approach, because people will begin to, you don't have to have it all figured out before you start marketing. You don't have to be perfect, know everything. We help you through the challenge. And then of course, for those of you who go into the blueprints, we help you more build your business plan out, fill out the fishing formula business plan that we give everybody, and you can fill in those blanks to the best of your ability. But at the end of the day, at a certain point, you just have to start marketing. And through action, a lot of those answers will become more clear, right? Because as you said, a certain audience will begin to pop up, and it may not be the audience that you originally thought that it was going to be or that you wanted to target. So many people go in, well, I'm going to target dads, or I'm going to target moms, or I'm going to target nurses, and you know what? It, it, that may those may not be the people that totally resonate. You may have another part of your story or your personality that attracts a wider audience, that attracts more people than you thought. Talk to us a little bit about, it sounds like you're not trying to target just women, or just Indians, right? Are you sort of taking the approach that I just said, which is, okay, I'm not going to overthink this. I'm just going to start creating content and I'm going to allow my audience to reveal themselves?
Yeah. So Indians and Pakistanis, that all just happens automatically. But I would like to work with people who are burned out from their jobs. I feel like those are the audience I can easily convince. It's business, right? I want to be able to convince them. So those audience work good for me, and I think I also work very good with female audience. And yeah, these two are my main target audience. In fact, I put reels and talk in the reel in such a way that, I say exactly like this: are you burned out from your job, and are you struggling with not having finances, and all of those. So I say exact words that my target audience would want to hear, and I think that gets me to my right target audience again, right? Yeah.
That makes sense. What have you learned, Irfina, about yourself through this journey? What have you either learned that is new, that is exciting about who you are, or what have you been reminded about yourself through this journey?
So like I have said, I do come from a business family, and I was working with my dad. So everyone just assumes everything I do is because I have a backup and a good family and a good support system. So I was always afraid inside. What if I'm not capable of doing anything if I didn't have all of this? So I was very particular. If I'm planning to do something, it should be nothing connected to my family business and to everything that I already have, not to prove people, but to prove myself that I can do things just myself, right, without having anything handed over. So with this whole experience, I was able to really believe in me and that I am capable, and I could do whatever if I really set my mind into. So I think that's big for me.
I love that. I love that. So much of this can be self-esteem building for ourselves to, disconnect from the imposter syndrome that we have, that we feel because of something we have in our family, something we don't have in our family. And I love that for you, that you are realizing that you are so capable, independent of your family. Um, what advice would you give yourself if you could go back and talk to yourself when you very first got started, knowing what you know now?
um, So initially, I took a lot of breaks, and I think that slowed me down a lot. So if I would go back, I would have jumped way earlier into all of this, because this starting is the most skeptical part. So I really wish I would have started earlier, and I probably would be in a different place. But yeah, being consistent is what I would tell my older self, and just about anyone listening to me right now. Yeah.
Wow. Great, great stuff. Powerful, inspirational. We've all learned a lot talking to you this morning. Thank you for the time and tuning in from the UAE. I know it's several hours, 6 or 7 hours ahead of where we're at here in the United States. So, you're moving into your evening now. We heard the prayer happening behind you. So we got a good feeling of what your life is like, and we love that because it really reminds us that this is a worldwide business with people all over the world who are striving to learn these skills, that are building these businesses no matter where you're at in the world. Obviously, I shouldn't say that. There are some countries and some
Yeah.
places that it's not even possible. But if you are in a place that it is possible, what a blessing. And thank you for showing us how you're taking advantage of it. Come back and see me. Keep us posted on your journey, Irfina, and stay legendary, my friend. Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah. Bye.
See ya.
Yeah.
All right, my friends, you can go and follow and find Irfina over on Irfina.Izath.official. and that's spelled Irfana dot Izzah dot official. Okay, and that's of course up on the screen. My friends, what an amazing episode. I love, love, love to talk to people from different walks of life, different countries, different continents. And it is just such a powerful way to show how people are utilizing these skills all over the world, and how also people have the same desires. We have a lot more in common than we think we do. Here's Irfana, who is over in the UAE, originally from India, and she's talking. Obviously, has picked the business wealth niche that resonates with her the most right now. And she's also talking to people who are burned out in their 9 to 5s. I mean, some things are just universal. It is so powerful when we see the similarities that we have all around the world, rather than focusing on the differences. It helps us to understand each other. It helps us to understand human nature. It helps us to stay positive and focus on the good things about each other. It helps us to feel hopeful, and also realize that the opportunity to connect with people, no matter what your niche is, no matter what products you're promoting, that there's people all over the world who are looking for the solutions that you have and struggling with the problems that you may be able to relate to and that you can talk to them about. And so keep at it, my friends. Don't quit before your miracle happens, whatever that miracle may be. Maybe it's just building some self-esteem. Maybe it's getting in front of the camera and beginning to create content. Maybe it is making some money. Maybe it's making a lot of money. Whatever it is, and quite frankly, there hopefully will be many for you. I know there has been for me over the past 13 years of doing this. And so thank you, Irfana, for helping us to stay inspired, be inspired today on this December 12th, 2023. 2024 is right around the corner. My friends, you get to wipe your whole slate clean and have a new, fresh year. What are you going to do with it? My friends, thank you for the kind comments. Thank you for the supportive, loving comments that you're sending to both me and Irfana this morning. It makes doing these shows such a pleasure when we, get so much positive feedback and support, and of course questions and all the things. We do our best to try to do these shows and interview, but also occasionally take your questions. Either way, if you need support, get into the challenge. If you're a part of our Blueprints community, we've got coaching calls Monday through Friday. You can register for those right in your back office under products, register for live training. We've got a Decade in a Day workshop coming up on this Friday, and the journey continues, my friends. So, stay in the middle of your boat, right at that captain's seat. Keep your hands on the steering wheel and keep going forward. And we'll see you back here tomorrow, my dear friends, for another episode. Get out of here. Have a fantastic day. Stay legendary. Peace.